Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we uncover the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewer, Samantha Gabriel. Thanks for the suggestion, Samantha. You asked, why are wine bottles stored horizontally? If you've ever seen wine bottles lined up on their sides in a cellar, you might have wondered, why not just stand them up like any other bottle? Well, today we're diving into the world of wine storage, from keeping that cork moist to helping wine age like a fine masterpiece. So, if you've ever been curious about what makes wine bottle positioning so important, or just want to sound like an expert at your next dinner party, stick around as we break down why wine bottles are always stored horizontally, right here on Explaining Everything. So, first things first. Why do wine bottles need to be horizontal? I mean, they're just bottles, right? We store juice boxes standing up. Why is wine different? Well, the key reason is simple. Corks. Yep, those little tree bark bits keeping your wine safe. When you store a bottle of wine upright, the cork can dry out. Now, you might be thinking, why does that matter? It's just a cork, right? Well, let's break it down. If the cork dries out, it starts shrinking. And that's not good news for the wine inside. Think of it like having a lid that's too small for a jar. Air gets in, and next thing you know, your precious wine is oxidizing, turning into vinegar, or worse, becoming an overly expensive mistake. But when you store your bottle horizontally, the wine keeps the cork moist, ensuring it stays nice and snug. This little bit of moisture is like a spa treatment for your cork. It's the wine equivalent of getting a facial. Okay, so let's talk about aging, because that's another reason why bottles are kept on their sides. Now, no, we're not storing wine bottles in the basement with some creepy, cryptic aging process like it's in a horror movie. But wine does improve with time. Certain types of wine, anyway. As they age, they undergo chemical reactions that soften the tannins, develop new flavors, and basically transform into something more refined. Think of it as the wine going through its own midlife crisis. But here's where horizontal storage comes in. When the bottle's on its side, the wine comes into contact with the cork regularly. This ensures the wine keeps breathing and evolves at a steady pace. Kind of like how we humans get better with age, except without the wrinkles. So now we know that horizontal storage helps keep that cork happy. But what about the rest of the wine bottle? Well, storing your wine on its side also means it's less likely to be disturbed by vibrations. If you've ever heard someone say, "Don't shake the wine," they're not just being dramatic, they're protecting your investment. Wine bottles are best kept in a stable environment, away from things like traffic, washing machines, or that one cousin who's always jumping around at family gatherings. Vibrations can stir up the wine and mess with the aging process, and we certainly don't want that. But it's not just about shaking things up. Temperature is crucial too. Ideally, wine should be stored in a cool, consistent temperature. Around 55 degrees Fahrenheit, 13 degrees Celsius is the sweet spot. This isn't the type of cool we're talking about when it comes to your favorite celebrity. This is the literal temperature. Now, for those of you who prefer screw caps to corks, don't worry. This horizontal business isn't just for the fancy cork-sealed bottles. It's true that wine with screw caps doesn't have the same risk of cork deterioration, but let's not get carried away and start storing wine in a standing position just because it's got a screw cap. The experts still recommend horizontal storage for many reasons, including proper air circulation and consistency in aging. And let's face it, a screw cap just isn't as glamorous as a cork. But hey, that's just me being a wine snob. All right, if you're serious about wine and you've got the space, you might be thinking, hey, I want to create my own wine cellar. And honestly, why not? A wine cellar is like a VIP lounge for your bottles, and it's where you'll really get to flex your knowledge. Whether you're installing a full-on underground fortress or just making a little nook in your home, the horizontal storage game is the same. Wine cellars are designed to maintain the perfect conditions for aging. It's not about storing a few bottles of Tuesday Night Red. We're talking about creating an environment where wine can chill for years, quietly transforming into liquid gold. Temperature control, humidity regulation, and of course, the horizontal placement of bottles are key elements. It's basically like creating an exclusive club for your wine, where only the best bottles are allowed to sit back, relax, and age gracefully. So, whether you're storing wine for a special occasion or just letting it rest for the long term, the horizontal method is the way to go. It's all about maintaining that cork's integrity, allowing the wine to evolve, and keeping it in a stable environment. And honestly, who knew wine storage could be so important? Now, the next time you find yourself in a wine store, or you're setting up your own cellar, you'll have the knowledge to store those bottles like a true wine aficionado. Cheers to that! And remember, if you liked this video, hit the like button and subscribe. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about. Here on Explaining Everything.